Okay, granny flats that can rent for $1,000 a week. They do exist. We've got the builder right here to talk about it today and what mistakes to watch out for when you're building a granny flat. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Well, good morning.
I love it.
Good morning.
The expert granny flat builder here in the Northern Beaches. Welcome to Morning Minutes, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, you're more than welcome. So a little bio of what you do here around the beaches and where you're based. Do you want to just give our viewers a bit of a quick summary?
Yes, so Bungalow Homes, we specialise in granny flats or secondary dwellings on the Northern Beaches and North Shore. We've been servicing this industry and specialising in granny flats for the last 10 years. So we really know our stuff. We've refined and perfected exactly what we do. It has been challenging the last few years with, construction has been, I guess COVID and construction and inflation has been a challenge, but yeah, we're starting to see the end of that, which is great, and looking forward to a really bright, next few years.
Absolutely. And I mean, hasn't the granny flat market just boomed over the last 5 to 10 years? It's just really taken off. So you're here talking with us today, all things granny flats. We've got a few key points to go over this morning. And where do we want to start, Mark?
I'm so excited about the house. I didn't realise you're going to be inside my favourite granny flat in Australia, and I'd love just a very quick 1-minute tour. The kitchen, the bathroom, the yard, the living. This is a really, really impressive house. Let's just go through this quickly. If the viewers have got questions, fire them at us because it is a live show. Fire the granny flat question at us. This is a man that knows every answer to every granny flat question, so it's a valuable session to have you here. Can we have a quick look through the best granny flat in Australia?
Absolutely.
We had a sneaky tour before we went live, and guys, it is one of the sexiest granny flats I think I've seen in my whole entire life.
Unbelievable. So look at those ceilings. Look at those ceilings. Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful
nice
rakes.
Those rafters.
Yeah. Skylight. Integrated telly. Plantation shutters. Show us that kitchen. That kitchen's a cracker.
Yep. Yeah, so we've got a nice shaker style kitchen, 40mm stone bench top.
Gosh, that's huge. That's family size. That's bigger than my parents' kitchen in their house. That's stunning.
Yeah, we always try to aim to do that. It adds to the livability. So, a lot of the competition or, a lot of other people in the granny flat space do, I guess, scale it right back, and that can reduce cost, but it just affects the livability of the space.
That's how you win all those awards on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Let's have a look at the bathroom. Oh, look at
the
that.
awards up there. Let's zoom in on those. So have a look at the bathroom just down through here.
I'm guessing through that door we just passed was a bit of an internal laundry.
Yeah, correct. Exactly right. So we can
Wow, look at that bathroom. We've got the inlay. Put your shampoo up there. That is incredible. Now, to two better.
Recessed shaving cabinet.
Got the little cabinet. Can you show us that those gardens are prized gardens? Who did that gardening? We're going to have a look at these gardens in a second. Look at that bedroom. I love the ceilings, the fans. It has got everything.
Built-in robes. It shouldn't be called a granny flat. They should be called a mini house because that's effectively what they are.
Yeah, it's a mini Hamptons. Look at that yard.
Stunning covered deck.
Yard.
Beautiful privacy with all of that green yard.
And then a rolling lawn, decks. This is a granny flat, guys. You will find hard pressed to find something better than this in Sydney. It is unbelievable. Now, something
It's
like
just
this days would rent easily for over $1,000 a week, believe it or not. Now, what I love is you've attached it to your home. So and you've put it in your front
Yep.
yard, not your backyard.
Yeah, so it's attached here in the front, so plenty of separation.
Between that main house.
Wow. Yeah, it's a corker. All right, now let's talk more. Well done on that, mate. That's just amazing.
Beautiful. You've done such an exceptional job.
Thanks, guys.
Seriously. Out of interest, what does it cost to build a puppy like that? What's the entry level? What's the max someone can spend? What's the minimum someone can spend?
Yeah, look, so for something like this, you'd be looking around the $300,000 mark. But yeah, look, for us, we've got some really nice quality stuff. The DuraBuild designs that we've showed you once before, Mark, build out concrete panels. We can build them a lot faster. They're only $200,000. Everything all included, turnkey. But there are cheaper options as well. So, like, I guess for anybody looking to build granny flats, I'd say budget for $200,000 all up, because you used to be able to get granny flats and possibly get away with it all for 150 to 170, 180,000. But it's just not possible anymore with how inflation's affected the market, the cost of materials. So yeah, the costs have definitely moved a lot over the last couple of years. So I would say, that for our customers, you'd want to be budgeting for minimum $200,000, and then anywhere up to $300,000, for a 2-bedroom granny flat.
And when you think of what they rent for, if that's what you're going to use them as, a long-term rental, it really won't take that many years to pay off, considering you can get at least approximately $1,000 per week in one of these 2-bedroom granny flats.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so they a lot of the time we get $40,000 a year in rent, so $1,000 up to $1,000 a week, anywhere between $700 a week is absolute bare bottom, especially now in the market. I guess you would know, Mark, that price is just going up and up at the moment with the rental shortage.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. Hey, let's blast through. I've got so many questions to ask. We've got about 4 million questions. So let's just blast through. Quick questions, quick answers. How long does it take to build one?
So one like this, you'd be looking at around, I'd say 20 weeks for this level of finish. But if you want something that's going to be, our DuraBuild designs, we can do them in 10 to 12 weeks.
How long does it take to get approved?
Pardon me?
How long does it take to get approved?
Approvals. So approval. So to do your design and approval process, if it's a CDC, so Complying Development Certificate, then we can get them done in around about 3 months. But if it's a DA, then I guess how long's a piece of string? But you're probably averaging for 6 months.
Can I fire away with a question? Are all of your granny flats custom designed, or are they all one size fits all standard model, here you go?
Yeah, so the one that we're sitting in now is a custom design. So we would probably do 75% of our projects as custom design. But now that we've introduced this new DuraBuild products out of these, it's more of a modular type construction using a modular concrete walling system. So extremely durable, but a lot faster for us to put together. But because of the modular nature of the wall panels that we use to build the main structure, then we have set floor plans for that, which then gives us a little bit more control to, I guess, control the timing of how long things are going to take. So a little bit less back and forth between the customer and ourselves. So we can roll straight through the planning process and get that approved very quickly. And then once we hit construction, the same thing. So there's, if it's for a client that's an investor and they want something simple, and they're time poor and they want something really a nice quality of finish and don't want to put too much time into it, then we can manage that whole process and get it done very fast and hassle free if they go with the DuraBuild option.
What's the worst thing? That's called Juro build. The Serbian builder called Juro. Juro build. Juro.
I've never heard of that word in my life, so it's all just like, what is Durabuild?
It's a Serbian builder called Juro comes and builds it. What's the worst thing that you see what's your pet hate with granny flats? Where do you go like, far out?
Well, look, I wouldn't say hate, but I would say, look, there are some common things that we do see pop up where we have customers that may contact us originally and then go, oh, so I've got a friend that's a draftsman or a family member that's an architect. They go and then they draw their own plans and they come back to us, 6 months later and say, oh, we're ready to build. Here's the plans. And we say, look, we can't work with those because they don't have the right level of construction detail we need. We'll often review it and think, that have suggestions on how to improve the livability and create a better design or improvements on costs, because it's very common that, I guess draftsmen and architects will design something that's nice and beautiful, but maybe not the best use of space in terms of livability. And then definitely very rarely the most economical design. So their build costs usually blow out, and then we often have to redesign some of these plans. So that's a very common one that we get, is that people come with their own plans and they're already a DA approved and they've spent so much time and money, and then they get to us and they have to pay more to redraw them again.
I was going to say it will end up costing them more in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, I'll just close this because there's a jackhammer outside.
All right. What about if you are thinking? Okay, you fire away, Mark.
You go.
I was going to say, so I'm thinking, I've got a house, I've got a spare patch of land, I'm ready to build a granny flat. I've employed you to come and have a look. What would my minimum land size be I would need in order for me to build a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom granny flat?
So look, if you're going to go CDC, compliant development certificate, then you need minimum 450 square meters. So otherwise it doesn't fall under the CDC regulations. Yeah, Mark?
Do you have many grannies live in your granny flat? Who's your typical customer? Who's your typical customer for a granny flat? Kids, investment, granny.
Yeah, so I'd say it's 50-50 split at the moment. So we have a lot of, I guess, owner-occupiers, you would call them, where people may build a granny flat for their parents or they may build it for their children. Trying to help family out. That's very 50% of what we do. And then the other 50% would be for investment, where they want to rent it out to an unrelated party and get the extra cash flow. So it's a good mix of both, but there's also a bit of a life cycle to a granny flat. They might start off helping their parents and have their parents in there, but then eventually maybe their parents move to a home, then they start to rent it out. So then it becomes an investment. And then maybe later their kids get a little bit older and they're in their teenage years or early 20s, and they go, okay, I'm going to put my kids in there. So they've got some separation, they've got some freedom. So there's a real life cycle to the granny flats. It's usually a bit of a combination. It might start out as for family and then turn into investment, or vice versa. Yeah.
Very interesting. And I suppose, real estate is a long game. Granny flats as well are part of that. Just seeing that life cycle is super interesting.
Yeah. Go, Mark.
Is it adding value to the property or detracting value from the property?
Adding value, absolutely. Like, as long as it's done right, as long as it's done. So like what I showed you out here, it's in keeping with the existing property. So we just had a valuation here, and the valuation came in well above expected. But look, we've had clients recently sell as well, and the agent that sold the property said it was one of the best. Well, this was probably about 9 months ago, and you know what the market was like in the Northern Beaches 9 months ago. This was down in DY, and they said that everything, it was the strongest campaign that they'd seen in recent times, because it had a granny flat and a primary dwelling. Look, pretty basic, pretty standard primary dwelling. It was probably a three bedroom, single story, 150 square meters, like tidy. But then it had a nice new granny flat, and they did exceptionally well.
Because I've
And-
seen people build these. Sorry,
No, that's okay.
over to you.
I'll put my hand up for the next one.
Yeah. I've seen people build these granny flats, Chris, and they just prostitute the block of land, and it's really just an income-producing property. It's like two units on a block of land. It's awful. So I think that design keep that you're talking about is the secret to the value add.
Yeah, look, and depending on the amount of space you have, if you've only got a 450, 500 square metre block, and then you've got a existing brick home, and then you go and put a clad building right in the back, and they're very close together. So they're not going to be in keeping. They don't look as though they go together. I think that you're building one on top of the other, and then they also don't match. So it starts to look a bit out of place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have a much bigger block of land, like you said, probably had a friend the other day, that 1,100 square metre block, or even if it's 700 square metre block, and you've got enough separation between the primary dwelling and the new, then you can afford to do something that's different style if you can create enough separation. But if they're on top of each other, then like we did here, we actually attach. It's not common that we attach really flats, but here it makes it all so.
Yeah, it suits the home, it suits the block, and it's finished in the same way. So it all has one big story. It's stunning. And how have you seen the demand for granny flats evolve over the years?
Look, it's been very strong. It probably took about 3 years since 2009. There was a real change on the state environmental planning policy, which made it possible to do granny flats under CDC, so meaning you don't have to get a DA, and you can use a private certifier. So it just took a little bit of time before that became a bit more mainstream. But I noticed a lot of neighbours, people in the community, who didn't know what was going on. We'd start building, and they would be up in arms. Oh, you can't build this, but you don't have approval for this. Now I think people understand that there is a new legislation. So there's a lot less pushback from neighbours. But the demands been strong over the last 8 years. It's been very strong, getting stronger and stronger. And especially at the moment with what's going on with rental prices.
Yeah,
The
for
rental
sure.
prices are continuing to push higher and higher. So look, I think anyone that has a backyard, if they're not using it, I think it's ideal that they can actually be part of the solution and help provide some accommodation for as much you need for someone who's very in the community. So I think
No, that's so good, Chris. Thank you so much. I'm getting a bit of audio delay on your feed, but mate, thank you so much for coming on. Zanth, is there any other questions we've got for Uncle Chris?
I don't think so. In a nutshell, that's a very comprehensive deep dive summary into granny flat construction, the value they can add to your home. I mean, Chris is the point of contact for anyone in the Northern Beaches or the North Shore looking to build a granny flat. Even if you're thinking about it, want a quote, want a design, see Chris. I'll pop his details to contact him in the comments section. He definitely is one of the key players in the industry.
Should we kiss Chris? Ready?
Oh, whoa, I went the wrong way.
I went the wrong way.
Ready? Go. Thank you, buddy. Thank you very much. You're a legend. And if anyone needs a bungalow, homes, Northern Beaches, they will build a incredible property for you when it comes to granny flats. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on board. And I hope we've helped some of your listeners to have a better understanding of granny flats.
You're a weapon. Thanks, man. Cheers. Bye.